Here's a little garden tip.
From our garden to yours.
Don't you wish some weeds would just go away? Well, they don't, and we call them perennials. They're also the topic of our 2-Minute Pest. Celeste and I have been out gathering weeds. I know people think we're nuts, but we have them here.
It's true.
And I'm going to start with this one because this is one I get a lot of questions about, and that is the Cuban oxalis, Cuban purple oxalis. And you know, it wouldn't be too bad. It's kind of ornamental. It does have its own problems. It gets mites and it gets rust. People say they wish they would. But look at all the little nutlets on the bottom there.
I think that's what's important to point out is what makes the weed perennial.
Yeah.
It's usually some structure under the ground that they can regenerate from.
Look at that one. Isn't that something? Now here's something important to know, that this also gets a little purple flower, and that one's kind of faded away. But you've got to stop the flowers because it spreads by seeds, and that could be a real problem.
Isn't that a problem in ornamental beds?
Everywhere, everywhere. And you know, spot kill it, dig it out. It's the way to get it out, yes.
This is dollar weed, and see, this is why it can perennialize. If you leave any little part in there, it can root right off of that.
Yes, it can.
And so that's part of the problem. But in St. Augustine or in turf, you can control this one.
It's a tough one, but we do have herbicides that'll do it. You just have to be persistent is the word.
That's right.
Here's one here, another one called, with nuts, called Nutsedge in this case. This is purple Nutsedge. And look how that kind of daisy chains along, and it's kind of neat there the way it goes. And at the base of each one of these, there's a little nut-like growth. Not that hard to control. We do have good herbicides for it. You can also spot kill it. Look at that, just kind of goes along like that. We can also spot kill it in perennial beds.
And here's the
like
queen or the king of growing under the ground, torpedo grass, and you can just see, look how vigorous that newest growth. It does look like a little torpedo, and it's when you get that in your landscape beds, it is controllable, but it's tough. It keeps coming back.
Yeah, we have some over-the-top type sprays for perennials. In zoysia, we can control it. Otherwise, in St. Augustine, you got to kill everything out. Why don't you do that real quick?
Okay, of course, this is one of the favorite. It's called matchweed, and it does look like a little burnt match, but it's a perennial, and you can see the same thing. It's rooting from every single layer.
Very tough. So if you have any of these here, well, you might use them as bouquets. Would you like a bouquet?
Oh.
There we go. Otherwise, you're probably going to have to get them under control.